Hi, Oni here, tasting Red Bridge beer in Knysna. Come over to Knysna and explore the Red Bridge Brewing Company. Taste their 4 beers: Prospector Golden Ale, Privateer Indian Blue Ale, Woodcutters Saison Ale, and Red Bridge Craft Beer Lager.
So first tank's hot liquor, then we just rest our mash in the insulated tank, boil in the last one, and then the fourth tank's a whirlpool just to help us settle sediment and get the beer as clear as we can before we start pumping through for fermentation. But everything is very much handmade. Even our cooling coil, it's hand bent copper coil inside a plastic tube. So it's a reverse chiller. So we run cold water through from the one side, hot beer in from the other side. So you end up with hot water coming out by the hot beer and cold beer coming out by the cold water. Cold beer is then pumped into fermentation vessels and then fermented out.
How come beer is never sold hot?
Tastes bad.
Okay.
The moment beer's temperature goes up, more of the yeast characters and more of the kind of the more unpleasant and more fungusy flavors start picking up. So that's not very popular. And then of course, because it's carbonated, hot carbonation not
Isn't
really
a good
good.
combination.
Yeah. You end up being very gassy, which is not ideal. And then we bottle here. Literally 4 bottles at a time. It's counter pressure, so you literally push the bottles into position, fill them with gas first, so they're at about 1.5 bars of pressure, and then you slowly fill them up. Because there's then that pressure, one, you push out all the oxygen, which helps for the lifespan of the beer.
Lasts longer.
But then secondly, it allows the beer not to foam so much, so you can actually fill the bottles up to a certain level every time without sitting with a bunch of foam in the bottles. But then when you release them, they still foam up. So when you cap the beer, you're capping it on the foam. So you also know there's no oxygen going back into the beer when you seed it off. But
Yes.
all done, manually capped, 1 bottle at a time, and
Sure.
we only fill 4 at a time. So we can do about 60 bottles an hour.
So it's real craft. It's real craft
But
beer.
it's still very much craft. And that's why even our grain is still milled by hand. We've got no electronic equipment except for a pump.
And where do you mill the grain?
We literally mill on, this is it. So mill goes in there, and we just take it outside. It makes a lot of dust. So we transfer it outside, and you stand outside and you mill by hand. And this is literally this is the proof that we're at capacity. So these literally, there's one of these gets kegged tomorrow.
Okay.
That same fermenter gets washed, sterilized, and filled with tomorrow's beer again. So we literally only have 10 fermenters. We brew 10 days every 2-week cycle.
Yeah.
So it makes it impossible for us to do more than we're doing at the moment. Yeah.
Where are ingredients from?
It varies. So most of our hops are locally from George. So that's the kind of the fresher variants of our hops. And our grain, there's a very good maltery in Durbanville in Cape Town, which we've been finding the majority of our malt from. But our ale malt, our regular pale ale malt, we've been struggling to find one that's really to the quality of what we're wanting to do. So we're actually still importing that from Germany, from Castle Malts, which works out at significantly more expensive, but it is just a higher quality and very consistent malt. But the guys in Cape Town are actually looking at the recipe and looking at the malt. They've taken a sample and they're going to see if they can't produce something that's similar enough. But they know that my key problem with it is the consistency.
Yeah.
And we've really been struggling with the ale malt specifically to get one that's consistent, very consistent, especially for color.
Meet Carl and Chantel, the new owners at Red Bridge Beer, and meet their brewmaster, who's making fantastic beer. Come over to Knysna. Don't forget Red Bridge Craft Beer.